Hey everybody that's subscribed to Nival Games, and today, this is the third time I did this intro. Today we're going to talk about some Sega Genesis games. I'm down about it because I'm missing a bunch of games, and they're games that are in a box. So I'm missing my Shinobis, and they're somewhere in this house and it's bothering me. I've been looking for it. That's why I even changed clothes. This is actually coming right after my last video. And my neck hurts still really bad. So I'm not just gonna not write complete. But here's the games that are accessible to me at this time. I even went up in my attic. It's fucking cold, by the way. I live in New England, and your attics in New England or not. Whatever. Let's start with this bad boy. Game Genie. For the old cheating. Chakan, the Forever Man. This game is hard as fuck, and I've done more than one video of it on this channel and failed miserably both times. Sonic Spinball is the weird Sonic. So on all my Sonic games here, I'm not gonna talk about them too much because I actually did a video over my other channel. And I believe I brought them over here. If I didn't, I'll find out. And I'll bring them over here. But I worked really hard on them. And those were about the Sega Genesis Sonic games. I have very fond memories of. I didn't like that one as much, but I got it as a present. So if you get a game as a present, you can't get rid of it. That's the rule. Pit Fighter? Probably the greatest fighting game of all time. Don't have to say any more about that. That was also 10 Gen, by the way. If you're following from the last video, that was Atari's dummy company. I wish I had a different version of this because one's real expensive. And it ain't that one. Listen, I don't understand the love for this game. I've talked about this game several times on the channel. I have multiple versions of it, but it always comes in a Sega collection. It was a pack-in game before Sonic the Hedgehog existed, but dude, the game is so boring. And I grew up in the golden age of fucking arcades. I would say the platinum era of arcades. I got to go through right at the very end where the old tech died and we actually started having characters we gave a fuck about that weren't just a dot on a screen like Pac-Man. All the way into 3D and you have it better at home, so let arcades die. Okay? I'm telling you. That's not a game I would have played in an arcade at all. I would have played it once and be like, well, I wasted a quarter. And then I would have found Double Dragon or some other shit that was, more interesting. I don't like Altered Beast. But, hey, I got a copy of it. That wasn't a pack-in copy either. That was intentionally bought by somebody. What a dum-dum. Anyways, Ms. Pac-Man. That's the 10 Gen one. I love Pac-Man. I'm going to say it every time a Pac-Man comes up, but I love Pac-Man. And I'm a big fan of Ms. Pac-Man. It was a little smoother, in fact. Do you have the Tude for Two Crude Dudes? It really was just a big heaven of side-scrolling beat-em-up games back in these days, man. This is not a good fighting game. Fighting Masters. Oh, it doesn't say it. Fighting Masters. Not a good fighting game. Kid Chameleon. Easter egg. If you go to my videos and do by date, oldest to newest, my very first video on this channel, I did an impression of Randy Savage, and it had to do with this game. Go back and watch that. Not a lot of people have, but that shit was hilarious. I used to do voices and whatnot. It was funny when I had comedic bones in my body. Here you go. Here's some bare knuckle. Sorry, Streets of Rage. This one is a Streets of Rage version because I live in America. It's not like a flex right now, but Tasmania. As I told people in my NES video, you know, this is the era where mascots in gaming were big. You need to have a mascot in order to sell your product and then be able to sell merchandising after. And what game was that, Tez? That was one of the better tie-ins as far as the game goes. Who made that, by the way? I didn't even see. It doesn't say who made it. Well, that's a rarity. Capcom used to make some baller-ass licensed IP games. Asterix and the Great Rescue. I believe they started re-releasing these games, by the way. I'm pretty sure I bought a couple. We'll find out when I get to my PlayStation collection. Let's do all these together just because I already said something about it. So, Sonic 1. Pack-in Sonic. Pack-in Sonic. Intentionally bought Sonic. Intentionally bought Sonic. The dust is insanity. I gotta clean these before I put them back. I'm gonna fucking sneeze. Alright. Sonic the Hedgehog is near and dear to my heart. I have a lot of videos referencing back to it. I strongly implore, if you're new on this channel and you want to hear me talk about my collection more in depth, to go back to my Why I Love Video Games video. Literally just look up 9-Volt Games and 9-Volt Games, Why I Love Video Games. I won't be the first result, even though that makes sense. But I talk about my collection more in depth there. And then the related videos are deep dives into the collection. I don't have as much excitement right now because I'm bummed out about not having my... I'm missing so many. And they're not all necessarily good. Like, one was a hockey game. 2 of them are hard-covered baseball or clamshell baseball games. But my Shinobis were in there. And I'm really bummed because I know I posted a picture of Shinobi recently. Anyways, I'm wandering. Sorry. This video is not going to be as long as the other ones. Oh, shit. Jurassic Park Rampage Edition. Now, this ain't no Lost World, which was actually fantastic. Look up some of the gameplay of that, and you can see how we would look at that shit back in the day and be like, oh my god, the future is here. Jurassic Park was one that my cousin Jay used to have, and now I have. This one, I got as a present, and I didn't really like it when I was a kid, because it was insanely hard. But the older I got, the more I appreciated it, because I actually got good. And then games like that became a lot easier. It's not like the end-all be-all of Alien games, but it was a fun side-scrolling platform shooter. Rage. I really loved this game. There was a place that I used to go to, and it wasn't super far. It was like 15, 20 minutes from my house. It was near an arcade I used to go to. I used to go to this arcade. It was, I think it was called 10 Pin Bowling Alley. That was literally the name of it. And there was a massive arcade attached to it. And then right down the road was a place called Duguay's Chicken. And they had 2 arcade games at the time. They had Primal Rage, and then they had Clax, and I wasn't playing that. So I played Primal Rage so much that I ended up wanting a hard copy of it, and I got one. And then I have a hard copy on Super Nintendo also. I really liked Primal Rage, yet I was never good at it. I don't even know if it's a good game. I just know that I played it a lot because I ate a lot. Yo, that chicken was the best. And then the place burnt down and reopened, and then it wasn't the same. It burnt down from a grease fire because it was the greasiest. It was like the best fried chicken. I don't have the Menacer, so this is useless, right? Menacer. Road Blasters. This is a Sega Genesis game up way up there. I just realized it. NBA Jam TE edition. That was one of the sports games that always got a pass because it was more of the multiplayer fun with your friends than anything. I've done separate videos about this. Sparkster Rocket Knight, which I need to get a clamshell case for this because I bought the collection, so there's no point in even having that out anymore. I do have some of my box ones because they were up here already because I did a photo opportunity with them. Rocket Knight Adventures, which is obviously the first one to Sparkster. I do not have the box for Sparkster, but I like Rocket Knight Adventures a lot. But everyone on here knows I like Sparkster more, which is an extremely unpopular opinion, I guess. But fuck them. Anyways, Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. If you're new here, I like Mortal Kombat a lot. If you're old here, what do you want me to say? You know? But thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna have to amend these with odds and ends videos because if you watched my last video, I came upstairs with a stack of Zelda games that my son had in his room on his Zelda shrine. I also saw my Donkey Kong on Game Boy down there. And then we have 3DS. That splits these. This is what happens when you have kids and you're so into showing them classics that you, I don't know, I just stopped paying attention. Whatever. So I'm going on to Nintendo 64 next. Thank you guys for watching. I know this one wasn't a half hour, but I got really bummed out about that. Fucking a bag of games, because I don't know what else was in there. I think my Atari games were in there. And my ColecoVision games were in there. And those got to be in the attic. And it's cold up there. I'm always afraid I'm going to get bit by a raccoon. Thank you guys for watching.